He's known around the world for playing James Bond, the charming, unshakable 007. But off-screen, Pierce Brosnan's real story is more powerful than any film. It's a story about love, about loss, about fatherhood. Brosnan is a father of 5. Some biological, some adopted, all deeply loved. His life has been marked by unimaginable pain and profound devotion. And today, we're not talking about the actor. We're talking about the man who built a family, often against the odds. This is the untold story of Pierce Brosnan, father, husband, survivor. Charlotte Emily Brosnan wasn't Pierce's biological daughter, but from the moment he married her mother Cassandra, she was his in every way that mattered. Born in 1971, Charlotte grew up with a vibrant energy. Friends described her as goofy, magnetic, and full of life. Pierce lovingly called her the custodian of laughter, a nickname that says everything about how she lit up a room. After her biological father passed away, Pierce officially adopted Charlotte. She took his name and his heart. She later studied acting at RADA in London and worked in film for a while, but eventually chose a quieter life, raising her own children, Isabella and Lucas. But tragedy struck again. In 2013, just weeks after her wedding to her longtime partner Alex, Charlotte died of ovarian cancer, the same illness that took her mother. She was only 41. Pierce later said, "Charlotte fought her cancer with grace and humanity, courage and dignity." He mourned her deeply, sharing a tribute years later from his Hawaii porch. "Here's looking at you, kid." For Pierce, losing his daughter after losing his wife felt like history repeating itself in the cruelest way. But it also reminded him to treasure every moment with those still here. Christopher Ivan Brosnan was born in 1972, Charlotte's younger brother, and like her, he was adopted by Pierce after Cassandra's second husband passed away. Chris was 19 when his mom died, and the grief changed him. Pierce once said he could see the pain in Christopher's eyes, the absence in his heart. But Chris pushed forward. He studied screenwriting and directing, and even worked behind the scenes on some of his father's biggest films: Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and The Thomas Crown Affair. For a while, he dabbled in the spotlight himself, appearing on Celebrity Love Island in 2006. But eventually, he stepped back. These days, Christopher lives a very private life, away from Hollywood's noise. Pierce still honors his son with love. In a Father's Day post, he wrote, "My love forever to you, dear sons, Christopher, Shawn, Dylan, and Paris." A reminder that even quiet bonds can be strong. Shawn William Brosnan was Pierce's first biological child with Cassandra, born in 1983 in Los Angeles. He was just 8 when his mother died. The moment left a permanent mark. On a podcast, Shawn recalled how Pierce broke the news. "He cried, and I didn't. I comforted him. But the grief came later, and when it did, it turned into anger. That anger spiraled into isolation, pain, and eventually, addiction." When Shawn was 16, a devastating car crash left him with multiple broken bones and lifelong injuries. It was then he was introduced to opioids, and a new struggle began. Even as he studied acting and pursued a career like his dad, performing Shakespeare and landing roles in indie films, the addiction lingered. And when Charlotte died in 2013, he relapsed. But that wasn't the end of Shawn's story. In 2014, he chose recovery. He got clean. Married actress Sanjay Banik, became a father to 2 children, Marley May and Jackson Elijah. Today, Shawn has taken his pain and turned it into purpose. He works in addiction recovery and is training to become a psychologist, specializing in grief and loss. He's walked the darkest roads, and now he's helping others find the light. Dylan Thomas Brosnan was born in 1997, the first son of Pierce and his second wife, journalist Keely Shea Smith. Dylan's childhood was split between 2 worlds: the island beauty of Kauai, and the glitz of Malibu. But wherever he went, creativity followed. Pierce said they'd paint together, play ukulele, and share quiet, simple moments. Dylan would often visit his dad's film sets, not to watch the action, but to admire the gadgets. "Are the cars okay, Daddy?" he once asked after a huge stunt on a Bond set. That curiosity turned into storytelling. Dylan graduated from USC's School of Cinematic Arts and quickly built a name in film, working on projects with Bruce Springsteen and Willie Nelson. In 2023, he even made a short film about his father. But Dylan isn't just behind the camera. He's been a model, a musician, and in 2020, a Golden Globes ambassador alongside his brother Paris. He's cool, creative, and grounded. In a People feature, he said, "We have the best parents you could ask for." That love shows. Paris Brosnan, born in 2001, is the youngest of the Brosnan children, and in many ways, the bridge between generations. Raised in Hawaii, Paris had a deeply artistic and connected upbringing. Pierce described their family life as simple and insular, full of painting, gardening, and music. Paris inherited his father's love of storytelling, but channeled it into activism. He became a model, filmmaker, and environmental advocate. He's walked runways in London and Milan, appeared in GQ, and worked behind the scenes on his dad's film Black Adam. But more importantly, he's used his platform for change. In 2019, he directed a short film in Sri Lanka about hunger relief. He's worked with environmental groups and done PSAs about plastic pollution. In 2023, Paris graduated from Loyola Marymount University. Pierce posted a photo with pride writing, "Go into the world with a brave heart and create stories that will make the world a better place." Whether through art or action, Paris represents a new generation, shaped by his father's wisdom, but walking his own path. Pierce Brosnan's life has been filled with applause, awards, and unforgettable roles. But his greatest performance? It's not on any screen. It's the strength he showed as a widower, the love he gave as an adoptive father, the guidance he offered to a son battling addiction. Through grief and growth, through careers and chaos, Pierce never stopped being a dad. And he's passed that legacy of empathy, creativity, and quiet resilience on to his children. His story is proof that even when life takes everything, love can rebuild it. This isn't just a Hollywood tale, it's a human one. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes in the power of family.